Cardinals Corner from Arizona Sports.
Cardinals Corner from Arizona Sports with Tyler Drake and Lauren Koval.
That makes it 4 in a row for the Arizona Cardinals following their 31-6 win over the New York Jets. What's going on, everybody? Tyler Drake here at State Farm Stadium following that big dominant win that the Cardinals just put on the Jets for another edition of Cardinals Corner. A little bit different today. Just me. Lauren, I think, is somewhere up in the sky flying home from California. So hopefully she flies over State Farm, can give us a little bit of insight of what's going on up there. But no, let's get to the game. Obviously, 4-game win streak now. Another dominant showing really across all 3 phases of the football. Offensively, Kyler Murray went out there and did his thing. You know, he said this week, it's a beautiful thing when he can just hand the ball off. I think it's a pretty beautiful thing when he can throw the ball and score touchdowns like he did today. 266 yards. He had 1 touchdown through the air, 2 on the ground. I believe he had 21 yards on the ground as well to go along with that. He also completed 17 straight passes. That's something that franchise hadn't seen since Carson Palmer did it. So really big shout out to him. Jonathan Gannon after the game really spoke volumes of his quarterback and basically said he was just best player on the planet, and I don't think a lot of us can disagree because he really came to play today. It wasn't just him, though, offensively. James Conner continues to show you why he is the lifeblood of what this offense needs and what this offense wants moving forward. He had 80 yards through the air, not so much on the ground. He got to show off his hands today, and that was a great thing. He actually should have had about a 45-yard touchdown. His butt cheek was down before the goal line, which was a very awkward way of explaining it by the refs, but that's what happened. He ended up getting into the end zone a couple plays later, though. So really strong showing from him. He had over 100 yards from scrimmage, I think on 17 touches. So a big day from him. And then you have Marvin Harrison Jr. He once again found the end zone as he continues to build his chemistry with Kyler Murray. And lastly, tight end Trey McBride had one of the plays of the game, hurdle the defender, and really just let everybody know just how amped he was. So again, all of the playmakers on the offensive side of the ball are really coming to play of late. You can really, it almost seems like that Green Bay embarrassment has really waken up that side of the football. Then you go on the defensive side, and even without Jalen Thompson, they still get it done. And that was a huge loss in my eyes because Jalen Thompson has been such a big part of that 1-2 punch alongside Budda Baker. Instead, the rookie rabbit, Dadrian Taylor Demerson, gets the start, and I thought he really held his own against a very good, potentially Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So really, really impressed with just his ability to come and step up when his number was called. We talked to him this week, and he actually talked about being able to be in this position and how he's excited, but it's just another day of the week, another day at practice. So good to see him kind of transition that onto the field. Beyond that, Baron Browning got in the action too. The Cardinals' new acquisition from the day before the trade deadline on Monday. He got in the game, so he clearly got up to speed in time with what they liked. Didn't do too much out there on the stats-wise, can't say statistical, there we go, just said it. But he did get out there for a handful of plays. Gannon liked what he saw, but he really talked about just the ability for him and how much that showed the team that he can be ready when his number was called and using that short time to get back at it or to get accustomed to this team. I thought Robert Rodriguez said it really good this week too about Baron. As much as he likes what he brings as a player, he really spoke about the person and how much he really likes what he brings off the field and just his ability to really, I think, bring another element to that outside linebackers room. So that's a really good sign. And then I got to give a shout out to Jesse Luketa. He had 1 sack today, continues to be a factor. And again, Robert Rodriguez this week said he is the tone setter when it comes to motor and violence right now to that room. I think we saw a good example of that tonight. But let's look forward. Bye week's happening. Really, from what it sounds like, nobody's taking any days off. Kyler Murray is still very much going to be focused on football, really across the board. Same thing with Budda Baker. Maybe they get a day of somewhat disconnecting, but for the most part, it seems like these guys are ready to get back at it. You almost think, is the bye week coming at the wrong time? Somebody actually asked that to James Conner today. He said, absolutely not. They need a little bit of rest. So a good sign there. But I do have to give one more shout out before we move on to the NFC West picture, because that's something we got to talk about. Budda Baker, 100 tackles on the year already. That is his 5th season with 100 tackles. Just a really impressive season, 10 games in. So he's still got plenty of time to up those numbers. I think 147 is his season best. So we'll have to see if he can get to that number. But let's move to NFC West. The win, 6-4. Cardinals are still atop the division. You've got the San Francisco 49ers at, I believe, 5-4 now. You've got the Rams who play tomorrow at 4-4. And then you've got Seattle at 4-5. So when you look at that, look at the bye week, look a little bit ahead. Even with NFC West winning games this next week, it's still going to be the Cardinals up top, whoever wins. It's just based on tiebreakers. They still have that 2-0 divisional mark, which is perfect. And they've got those head-to-head tiebreakers over the Rams and the Niners. So even if the Rams get it done tomorrow and next week, even if the Niners get it done next week after their win over the Tampa Bay Bucks, which that one came down to the wire after Jake Moody missed 3 kicks and made 3 kicks with the game winner. Even if they win, the Cardinals are still going to be on top when they get back to work in week 12. And on top of that, could be getting back some reinforcements in Darius Robinson and Jonah Williams. Honestly, I thought Jonah Williams had a chance to start, or not start, but at least play this week, given his practice availability has been limited throughout the week, but they seem to really like what he's bringing to the table. As far as Darius, he was asked, Jonathan Gannon was actually asked post-game if he's confident that Darius will return this season, and he still remains very confident. We'll have to see what that looks like when we get back on the practice field in week 12, but definitely something to keep an eye on, because I know everybody wants the rookie back. There's been a lot of patience, a lot of grace given to him, because he's not only dealt with the calf issue, he's also had to go through the loss of his mother, which is a just tough time for anybody. I mean, tough time for an NFL player, tough time for an everyday person like me or you. So got to let him work through that thing, but it does seem like he is on the up and up, and they do seem confident he's going to be out there. And if he does return, that's just another addition to that rotation that could really do wonders moving forward. This defense is hitting on another level right now. They're bending and not breaking, but it's just been a solid effort across the board. So adding another guy like Darius is almost like bringing another guy at the trade deadline, even though it's not necessarily that. But it's a good sign moving forward, especially given where they're at right now, 6-4. I mean, you look at the rest of the schedule, it's one of the easier schedules the rest of the way. Per tankathon, one of the easiest strength of schedules for the rest of the way. So that's definitely something to look at. I mean, you win 4 more games, 5 more games, you're sitting there probably in a playoff spot. I think 10. I think you get to double digits. You're looking right at a playoff spot. Divisionally, I think that's where they've got to get in, though. So we'll have to see how that thing all unfolds as the weeks continue on. But for right now, as we head into week 11, the Cardinals really couldn't be in a better spot. But if you ask Kyler Murray, he's still not satisfied with where they're at. 4-game winning streak, absolutely dominations at home these past 2 weeks over the Jets and over the Bears. 2 completely different quarterbacks still getting it done. He's not satisfied. He feels like the record could still be better, and he knows that there's still a lot of games to play. Budda Baker, same way. He loves that he got he has 100 tackles on the year, but he really could care less if that means they aren't winning games. And taking this next step, they've really got to balance out getting some R&R while also staying on and making sure they don't lose this edge that they have right now. So it'll be very interesting to see as they get back to work heading into week 12 against the Seattle Seahawks, a divisional game. So the stakes are going to be high, and we will be with you along the way to bring you everything as it pertains to the Cardinals, especially on the bye week. And we also will be bringing you a couple of special things this week. We've got the Cardinals Corner mailbag, which I will be asking you guys to send me in some questions. Lauren as well will answer those. We're also going to do an awards show this week. It's going to be all written, ArizonaSports.com. Be sure to check it out there. But we're going to do an awards show. We're going to give some hardware out to some of the players we think have deserved it so far. Unsung hero, comeback player, MVP. I can tell you right now, Chad Ryland's probably winning something, because the dude has just impressed me every single week, it feels like, since he's come aboard after that. Oh, I guess after that block, he's been very impressive. So, yeah, keep it locked on the Arizona Sports app, ArizonaSports.com, and 98.7. We are going to get it wrapped here, but you can follow me at T-Drake for Sports. You can follow the show at AZ Cards Corner. Go follow Lauren at Koval_Lauren. We're still going to give her a shout out, even though she's not here. So Lauren, get back. We got to do some more work. But with that, oh, also, you know what? Go follow our videographer too, Felisa. I don't know her at, but I know that she's all over the place. So you guys can go find her. But yeah, definitely keep it locked. And we will be back tomorrow for more from JG and a player to be named later, before we really get into the bye week and take a look at the rest of the year and what it might look like for these Arizona Cardinals. For Arizona Sports, I'm Tyler Drake.